gentlemen, my name is Charles Nzali, host of 8 Plus 1, The Classroom. Today, I am honored this evening to have someone in my presence, someone that I look up to, someone that I've grown to know and grown to really love, someone that is very kind, very giving, and someone who is really a go-getter. See, when I started this platform, I had the intention to go and sit down with people who were go-getters, people who decided to take their lives into their own hands and pursue their goals unapologetically. Today I have Gina, Regina Williamson here. Regina Williamson is a mother, an entrepreneur, a student, a wife, and a lot more. Regina, welcome to 8 Plus 1, The Classroom.
Making me want to cry. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
You're welcome. Regina, tell me a little bit about yourself. I pretty much already said that you're a mom. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're from Gambia.
Yes.
Let's start with your background all the way from the Gambia.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've been here 21, going on 21 years. Originally came here to go to school. I'm now married to a gentleman from Arkansas, so I guess I'm not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. We have 2 little boys. One's almost 13, the other one's almost 10. Been here 21 years. I can say I'm still trying to get to where I'm comfortable, where I say I've gotten to my goal. I feel like every day is work in progress. We're getting there. I started off, I went to an all-girls school when I came here first. It's called Cardi College. It's in Nevada, Missouri, in the middle of nowhere. Then we moved to Kansas City because my older sister was here, so I wanted to be closer to family. Found work, started in the hotel business, went into the restaurant business, and originally wanted to pursue a career I wanted to be a doctor. But as the way situation presents itself, I'm actually working towards becoming a nurse, and will be done with my RN this September. I'm also, the best part of me is being a mother and a wife. I love my family. I have 3 sisters. All of them are here. My parents are here also. Now I've embarked in a business that I did not plan, never saw myself in, but just got really comfortable in it. And it's in a braiding business. I do own a hair salon, which I started 3 years ago, and I am loving it. It's the business. It's going to places where I didn't think it would go, but trying to run that and a family, and also pursue nursing school is a little crazy, but it's happening. There's no other option.
Given that you've been here for so long, what are some of the fun memories? What are some of the memories you have about the Gambia?
Oh man, memories of my family, my grandparents, especially my grandmother on my mom's side, my cousins, just meeting at my grandfather, my grandma, and my grandfather, so my dad's side, just meeting my cousins there after school. Just being free, not having to be responsible for anything. Because I turned 18 here. I came here. It was November 26th of 2000, and then I turned 18 December 6th of 2000. So I turned 18 here, and I had my first job here. The main things I remember there, being back home, was that freedom. just not having any responsibilities. All my parents required of us was you pass your classes, your exams, do good in school. If you want to do sports, they'll encourage you. You always had food, you had anything you wanted as long as you were doing the right things that they considered, like this education part of it. But just that freedom, just not having to worry about the bills, not having to worry about your tuition, all that. I really miss that freedom. That's one of the good memories, and being around family, feeling safe, really.
Beautiful thing about Gambia or Africa in general is that freedom and that sense of family. Yeah. I mean, you do have that here. You have your mom and dad here and your sisters, but on a wider spectrum. In Gambia, you get your cousins, your uncles, your annoying aunts. Everyone is in one big circle, and that is always a good feeling.
The one thing that makes it a big difference, the environment.
Yes.
The environment makes a big difference, and obviously culture. It's just where you are, just that being around people that understood you. Because here it's like every day it's like you're having to explain yourself why you do things a certain way. So that's something that I always cherished when we were back home. Everybody knew what was expected of you. Here you don't, because we're different cultures,
It's interesting at the same time, different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And also the assimilation, the process of assimilation usually takes away from what we have in the Gambia.
It does.
Because for you to really fit in, you have to adjust. So that adjustment sometimes compromises the culture and what you believe in and how you were raised and the experiences that you had as a child growing up. It does really, really, really make a difference. It amazes me how you were able to go to school and run a salon and raised 2 boys and be a wife. And every time I see you, you never really run out of energy. You're always on the go. You're always on the go. Where did that come from?
First I'll say, being able to do everything that I do when it comes to my school, raising my family, there's always a part that suffers. One thing that I can say I'm very thankful for is my husband. My husband he's very supportive. He's my biggest critic now. Let's get that straight. He would tell me in a minute, that doesn't make sense, or this is right. But with his support, our children are a certain way. He motivates me. Hey, this doesn't make sense. Hey, I think you probably need to do this. But I can be stubborn because sometimes he does give me advice. I'm like, oh no, that doesn't work. But his support is one of the main things that have helped me in what I'm doing. The energy part of it, I think it's just because I feel like we're in a country where you attain what you want based on how hard you work. Your goals are set based on how hard you want to work. You can say, my goal can be today, I just want to be done with school and I just want to work 8 to 5 and be done. Well, when I get to that goal, that's it for me, or am I going to set something else bigger? Now, with everything I do, it's like I have multiple goals. I have a goal for school. When I'm done, okay, where do I want to work? I have a goal for the salon. What are my goals for that? Where do I want to take the salon? I have goals for my children, even though at the end of the day, their goals for themselves is what's going to, push them. But I want to structure them to say, hey, you can do greater things. You don't have to just minimize yourself. When I look at myself from my first job was at a gift shop at Western Crown Center in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. And I remember that job, making my $7.25 an hour was a big deal because I wasn't working back home. So that was big to me. Then after that, I was like, okay, so I need to make money for rent. So now you need to get more money. Okay, so then I went and started working at the hotel. I started working at a hotel. I was a part-time night auditor. And then afterwards I grew. I became a part-time night auditor, part-time desk clerk. It made me a full-time. And I worked in the hotel business for 13 years total. By the time I left, I was a front office manager for a Marriott hotel. All of that, I never thought of it in the past. It was just that every time I got one step higher, I was like, okay, I want to get there.
Next thing.
I want to do that. And it just feels good, because what's life without a goal? What's life without a purpose? You want to do something with your life. So I think that's what gives me the energy and the zeal to keep going. I tell you, there are days I wake up in the morning and I don't want to get off my bed, but I just think about it. Okay, what am I doing today? Do I have to rest? Should I take a rest day, or can I go on without having to move today? Then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me get up and go to work. And sometimes I go into the salon with no appointments on those days, and those are the days I get people walk in. Or I just talk to people, or people just come by. So that was a purpose. Even if you didn't make money, just talking to people or just interacting with your
Selling
customers.
the business, yeah.
Yeah, you got to market yourself, market your business. And those are the days that I end up getting a whole family come in. Oh, well, we're going to make appointments and stuff like that. So that energy, I think just your goal, just a purpose for yourself is what pushes me every day. Yeah.
That is beautiful. I always say this. I always say, and I really mean it. See, not having a goal to pursue is the beginning of death. You wake up every day and you have nothing to look forward to.
No zeal.
Nothing to look forward to. You're just killing yourself bit by bit. And then, we live in a world where people go out and get it, and other people just settle and just sit down and fold their arms. The other question I want to ask is, what is success for you? Do you attribute success? Do you attribute success to how much money you have, or do you attribute success to how much influence you have, or do you attribute success to how much of the goals how many goals have you set for yourself and achieved them?
It's funny you asked me that question, because was it Friday or last Thursday? I was sitting in the salon, I was talking to myself. I had a customer that was supposed to come at 7, but they didn't show up. So I was like, just talking to myself. And it was like God speaking to me, because I was thinking I need to revamp myself. What do I want to work on? What makes me how would I say it? Not just successful, but makes me a happy person. And I sat down and I said, okay, I'm in the healthcare field. Your health has to be good. And then I own a business. Yes, I want to work and make money. Then I'm like, okay, my relationship with God has to be intact. So it's not just one thing. It's a whole bunch of things that need to come together to make someone successful. You can be successful financially, and then you're sick. So how are you enjoying your life? That's kind of not success. Yeah, there are people, like I'll give Steve Jobs. He had money, but he had cancer. But he got to that point where, and I'm not comparing myself to Steve Jobs, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of success, your health is one. And he lived long enough to enjoy his success. But there are times when you should look at yourself and say, okay, I want to be healthy. I need to work out. I need to get myself to a healthy point. And then I want to watch what I eat. And then also financially, I want to work. You have to balance your work life, your relationship with God, and your health for you to be successful. That's how I see it. That's my definition of success. Because I feel like I can't be sick and go to work. You're not going to make money. I feel like that's a route. I can start with that, and then as I'm healthy in myself, and you got to look good. Try to look good. I know sometimes I forget that part of it, where I just wake up and take a shower and I'm done and that's it. But just take care of yourself, and then work towards your financial goals. Set your financial goals, because yes, success does have to do with money. You want to be able to be comfortable financially to take care of your day-to-day financial issues, and then travel, enjoy yourself. So you want to be, all of that needs to be in balance before you can say you're successful.
Wow, that's a pretty in depth, broken down every single piece of what the whole composition entails, and it seems like you've already thought about this again and again.
I did. It always came through my mind. I'm like, well, you have money, and then what?
What? Yeah.
You know, and then what?
Yeah.
How you? Because I feel like you can, even in your health, after you do all of that, you get to be an advocate for people. You basically get to educate people, talk to people about it, because that's another thing that I'm trying to use the hair salon for. That we have times where people come in and talk to, especially the area that I'm in. It's in a very black minority area, and I would like for us to have, like, maybe we have somebody come in to talk about our hearts, come talk about diabetes, things that are kind of like making us not get that opportunity to you know, just know about your health, because those are the things that are bringing us down. So I just like, and then people come in to just talk about finances, you know, talk about credit. All of that stuff is things that we do need to work on for you to be in a happy place. Just be in a happy place. Even if you're not there yet, but just having your goals to say, okay, I'm going to get a whole bunch of things paid off on my credit. I'm going to get these things done. Just setting that goal. As you're getting to that goal, you're going to start you'll feel different. You'll feel the difference in being in that point where you have all these bills to pay, and you financially are not meeting the bills. You're going to be sick because you can't pay those bills.
The stress.
And then you're just sitting there not doing anything. So that's where the going comes. That should be a push to say, hey, let me go find two. I've had times where I worked 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job. Well, 2 part-time and a full-time job. And that was just because that's what I had to do to be able to pay what I had to pay. And that, when you go to that window and pay your tuition, you know the feeling that just, even though you know the next semester is coming, but
it's just
you feel so
relief.
good. You're like, okay,
yes.
I'm one step closer to my goal.
Yes.
But all of that sums up what I feel success is. So
our conversations in the barbershop, you can walk in there and people are talking about basketball. It could start from basketball and then into finances, into sneakers, into every single time you walk in there, it's a conversation that starts from one area all the way to another area. You find men, it's almost like a venting place for men. Men come there to just vent. People talk about relationships. People talk about the struggles they're having with their spouse. And these are people that you probably never met or never going to see. But it's a place where we just let our egos down and then talk. I think it's pretty much the same thing at the hair salon.
it is actually, and it's kind of, it depends on what kind of environment you set in there, because you know, we make it where people can, our customers are very comfortable. Like, it is a venting spot, you know, and we some of us, the nice thing is we've had times where somebody comes and is talking about what their life experiences, and there's another person there to do their hair, is just listening, and we've had times where just people just start crying. And what we end up finding out is that whatever that person is talking about might be the same situation this person is in, and they're just waiting for a confirmation.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, this is exactly from a customer. She goes, I am so grateful. She told the other customer, I'm so grateful for you. You just don't know how you saved me today. So we have people like that. You have all kinds of conversations. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful place, and we laugh about it. The same people, we got to the point where just some people just come in there and, oh, so what are we watching today? Just even the shows, or just, it's a comfortable environment. And I believe that when I thought of, because I've worked at a lot of African hair braiding salons. I'm African, so I'm going to say, I'm allowed to say this. And I do not like the environment in some of them. The reason I opened my salon is because I want people to understand that African braiding salons can be professional. We can be. And I chose that route because when people walk into my salon, it's just, I've had people walk in and be like, oh my God, I was just trying to figure out where to get my hair done, and I'm coming back. I just like the environment here. I just feel so good when I walk in. And it makes me feel good. I feel like I'm accomplishing something. So yeah, it's a place where, we do bash men. That's going to happen there. So, but we enjoy the conversations we have there. So
that's amazing.
it's like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Really, it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I had the chance to talk to one of your customers before this interview, and then I interviewed her. I'm about to play the clip for you. But the things she was talking about is that it's a place where she comes and catch up on her souls, and then also is a really healthy environment, and she loves it there, and then she knows that she can schedule an appointment at a short notice, and you will still accommodate her and take care of her. So that did confirm just exactly what you say, and I will attach that clip to this by the time I'm ready to and that customer is K.
Okay. Yeah. I love what I do. So sometimes it is a therapy session for me. People ask me, do your hands hurt? Actually, my hands hurt. If I take a vacation off a whole week and I don't braid, when I come back, then my hands hurt because it's like, oh, I was missing those few days. My hands I used to that movement. But it's a really good therapy for me. That's how I feel when I'm in there. Okay. And it's nice to work for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like working for myself is another thing that pushes me, because I can cancel all the appointments for the day and stay at home. But I don't do that because that's the push I get. Okay, no, you can't do that. That's your name, the name of your business you're about to ruin. And then your customers rely on you. They have plans, and they rely on you to be there. So those are the things that push me. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something. I feel like I'm doing something.
So we've had a lot of conversations about the salon. You've been married for almost 11 years.
Yes, this June 19 will be 11 years.
What is the secret?
I don't know. I don't think there's a secret, but I think it's just the people. It's the two people that decide to get married. My husband is the calm factor in our relationship. He is amazing. I'm the loud, crazy one, but he's amazing. The one thing I really like about him is his honesty. He doesn't hesitate to be honest with me. He doesn't mind if it hurts my feelings, but he is very honest. Our boys love him. They actually call me Soldier Mom, and he's the one that's always the good guy because I'm the one that disciplines. He does discipline when he has to, but I'm the main one. It's not versus like what you're doing right. It's just we just fit in. I don't know how we do it. We have fun together. We talk together. We it's not that we don't fight. We do disagree on things, but he's the calm person in the family that's just like, he'll determine if something is worth arguing about or not. And his definition of argue is my definition of what was the word I used? Oh, we're just talking about something. Okay, we're just disagreeing. That's his definition of arguing. So because of that, I'm like, okay, I don't want to argue. But in terms of, let's say something goes wrong and we have to talk about it, he decides, okay, right now we might be angry. Let's not talk about it now. We'll talk about it later, and things like that. So he is the head of the house, and I think he's the reason why we're in the place that we're in right now.
I just appreciate what I see from just watching. And I really do appreciate that. And then, Mako, he's a good guy. Oh, yeah. He's a good guy. And then, power to him. And then,
The one thing that it's interesting because I said, okay, I've been married to this man for 11 years and I just now figured out what I need to do. And listening, because I tend to, he would be talking and I'll just interrupt. Just listen to the end of the conversation. And then think before you say anything. There's simple things. I just have to think. Okay, so is this something I want to go back and forth with? Is it worth it, or when do I ask a question? If I don't understand, I don't just assume this is what he said. Hey, I'll ask. And he makes fun of me. He makes so much fun of me because I ask so much questions. Oh my God, he goes, Gina, you just asked me this. He would tell you, I ask too many questions. But sometimes it's just because I might be paying attention, but I didn't understand something. And then I'm like, okay, hey, I know you explained this earlier on. Gina, you've asked me this like 3 times. In my mind, it's just been in my head, whatever he said. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like trying to not take it as how I interpret it. I want him to tell me what he wants.
I am so grateful that you said that. Because
marriage.
Anna does that all the time, right? But I never really understood why it's done. Because sometimes I get kind of irritated that the question is asked, and I'm like, baby, I know you asked me about this before. Why are you asking about it again? But it never crossed my mind that she's asking the question again and again to make sure that I actually meant what I said, the way I said it, not her own interpretation of what that I said.
You and Mako have the same sign.
Yeah, we're all Gemini.
Yes, so you guys probably do the same thing. We irritate you guys to death. But there is always a reason. My husband does not like attention. None. I like to give attention, and he gets mad. Or he gets mad.
That's crazy.
So you guys, it's just, I don't understand why. You guys are weird. But
the younger me I used to enjoy a little bit of attention.
I think you're right. I think maybe the older you get.
So, but now it's not really. It's still weird for me when I get complimented. When people compliment me with stuff, I don't really know how to take it.
Yeah.
I always say, why you always, when people say you gotta say thank you and smile. See, we have sat down and she has tried to teach me how to smile and the smile not coming out as fake. And I'm like, I don't know how.
You're like, I can. You're like,
I don't know how to just smile and I'm really smiling. I really appreciate what this person is saying, but deep down in my heart, I do know that I'm just trying to smile because it seems like it's the cool thing to do in this moment.
Just vocally say thank you, and you don't have to always smile or express yourself like that, but it's a plus. It's a plus to let people know, and that's another thing. People appreciate you, and they tell you. You react back, because sometimes it tends to be rude if you don't.
Yes.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But I'm grateful you did break that down for me, because it was definitely getting on my nerves for me to keep repeating the same thing. I never really thought of the fact that she is saying this simply because she's trying to make sure that what I said is said the way I said it. It's intended the way I said it, not her own interpretation of what I said. And that actually makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of difference, because you don't feel left out in a relationship. Because you would say, like, I do this a lot, and I'll be on my way home, just like today, and my husband will call me and say, oh, can you get a bottle of soda? And I'll go get some healthy, and he'll tell me exactly what he wants. I will get some healthy stuff and take it home. Gina, that's really not what I asked for. And then they feel like you're not listening to them. You're not accomplishing what they asked you to do for them. So then they feel like you maybe don't appreciate them, which you do, and that's the reason why you brought them the Izzy soda instead of the Pepsi or the Coke. So, but that's the thing. So you just sometimes you just have to do and what they want, but you have to make sure you know what they want. And that's where the question comes in, because I don't know if you don't tell me. So
the bottom line pretty much is the better communication you have.
Yes.
The better understanding it is, and the better everything else is gonna fall in its place.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Because you got to compromise, and that's the only way you can understand each other.
Yeah. Yesterday I was watching a video, some guys that just sit down and talk about relationships. And it's a guy that says that he says relationship is like a Venn diagram. You know, a Venn diagram, you have two circles, and then the two different circles come together. It's a point in the circle where they intersect, right there. It says the intersection is what you two do together, and that's the intersection. Say, but the other space is you having your separate life, and your spouse having their separate life, and then when you do come in, you have to make sure in the intersection, whatever you have in your personal life, work, and whatever you have going on, does not have to get into that intersection, because that intersection is your sacred space. That's what you have going on. That's what you have. Yeah. That's where your relation, everything is communication
between the two.
Between the two of you.
There's sometimes though that work will go in, because let's say I have something happen today. Hey baby, you know what happened today? You know, you can do that, but not, I guess it's a separate world. So I get that middle spot. It's just what you guys do, your plans together. It makes sense.
Anna used to always complain that, why is it that when you get home from work, you sit in your car for 20-30 minutes, right? What I am doing in those moments is I'm sitting in my car. I'm trying to take Waffle House out of my I try to separate, just detach myself from work before I walk into that house. I'm trying to take away all the negativity and all the hustle and all the craziness of work.
You're transitioning.
Yes, I'm trying to leave that in this car. So when I do come inside, you know, I'm coming to you without bringing the stress of work into the house with you, because eventually it is going to interfere in whatever we have going going on. And even if I do come into the house and she's like, how was your day at work, right? At first I used to just be like, it's fine, and not ask her how was her day at work. And then eventually I kind of understand that, you know, women will give you signs. So if she wants to tell you how her day was spent at the house, right? So she would ask you, how was your day? So you can say, you can tell her however your day went, and then ask her how her day went, so she is able to vent, just tell you how, I had a phone call, I called my mom, I called your mom, I did this, I looked at this on Amazon, I set up a doctor's appointment for Francis, I spoke to Gina, I spoke to Sonia, and then, but if I come in and then she goes, how was your day at work? And I go, it was fine, and then leave it there and did not ask. It's like, okay, you don't care how my day was.
Yes, you gotta show.
It's just the little pieces that normally, if you do not pay attention to them, you miss out on everything.
A lot of signs you miss out on, and you want to know what's going on with your significant other, because there are times when just, let's say something goes on and nobody talks to me, I don't vent it out, you know. I could be mad. At the end of the day, what ends up happening, you come to me and you say something simple that has nothing to do with anything. I get mad at you. But what's not fair is for me to put that anger on you, something that happened at work. So sometimes you can help yourself. Basically, help me vet, hey, what you do today? How is everything? Or just, I think that helps. And then I can tell, he cares about what's going on, you know. So, and you can't be with somebody who does not care about what's going on, like for you, like that'd be crazy. You know, what's going on with my wife? My husband, like I talk a lot. So if I come home and I'm quiet, that's a sign something's wrong.
So
you know, he'll come and he'll meet me in the kitchen and start bothering me and stuff until he knows if he keeps doing that, I will say what's going on with me. But my sign for you knowing that something's wrong, it's just me being quiet, and that's when you should run and just Just
Just
just
leave
be
the
like,
house.
oh, what's wrong? Okay, guys, let's go to the park or something like that. But yeah, so it's good to be observant. Pay
Yeah, it
attention
is.
to your significant other and your kids,
Yes.
because you get a lot of signs just from paying that 5 minute attention to them when they walk in the door. They'll walk different when they're mad, or they won't even say anything. If they use whatever they used to do, they wouldn't do. So you know something's wrong with my wife or my girlfriend or whatever. Something's wrong. There's a lot
To really talk about
Yeah.
and unpack and
yeah.
do all of
I
that. But
I had said that if I had written a book about my life, 21 years now, people would be like, "Oh, she's lying." Like there's so much in the process of coming from where I always go back and I look at where I started from. There's one thing though that I can say is that even all the hard parts of my life that I came through, I can say they actually benefited me.
yeah,
Because I believe if I didn't go through all those hard parts, I wouldn't push myself to the point I do right now. You know, I used to work for a manager that was just, I've never experienced it was just horrible. Let me put it that way. Knew my worth, but did not want to work on me being promoted. Wanted me to work under him because, hey, you doing all my work, I'm good. So it took me 13 years to figure this out, but I was like, I'm out, basically, because I could function in every department in that job by myself. I could. But everything I learned from there, I can say I'm using that now to balance my books in my salon, to do my accounting stuff, to just, try to figure out, okay, if I buy this type of hair, even though I want the best hair for my customer, so I need to figure out how to bargain this hair, because if I put this amount of money in the hair and they pay this, I have to pay, the light bill is this. So I had to balance everything out. But all of that I learned from when I was in that environment. I was crying and mad at that time, but I can say it was worth going through it.
it was a stepping stool.
It
It was a preparatory school pretty much
Yes.
for what you have going on now.
Yes,
You
and
know?
the moment you decide that, okay, I'm done with that, it was hard. It was so hard to leave that environment because I loved working there. I loved working in the business itself. It was just, I cannot associate the business with the people, because the business can hire the best people, but you don't know what those people are doing behind your back when you're not there, or when you're not, the corporate office is not going to be there all the time to see. So that hurt me because I really loved it. But at the end of the day, I had to think about me, because there were days I was there 24 hours working. So my kids were still little at that time. And so I was like, okay, I need to focus. I need to pick what is worth fighting for. And at that point, I was like, I left the hotel business to go work as a CNA at a hospital. I did take a pay cut, but I realized that, okay, I want to go back to what I originally wanted to do. And that's when I went to work in the hospital. And I can say, even though financially that was a hurtful decision, but mentally and working in the process and going to school for an RN, that was the best decision I've ever made for in terms of like for my future and for what I want to do. So it's a whole process. You can't tell anybody how to get there, because everybody's route's all going to be different. But the one thing I can say it's based on is your push. What's your push? Where do you want to be? Look at what kind of future are you looking for? I want a beautiful future. I don't want to work like this for my whole life, but I feel like I need to invest now for the time that I can actually sit and enjoy my family. And you still have to enjoy in the process.
Yeah.
But there's bigger enjoyment when you retire and you already have set aside money. All of that is part of the education and your push.
So the pretty much the journey, the whatever you're going through now is a setup for what's ahead of you.
Oh yeah.
So even though in the moment it might seem really, really, really hard in the moment, you need to find time to appreciate the process.
Yes.
And trust the process.
Yes.
Knowing that this is a journey that I need to take in order to get to what's best for me, or the better version of me.
Yes,
You
and
know,
there's no shortcuts.
no, not at all.
Absolutely, any shortcut you take, you're gonna work it out almost in the end, or in that process. Right after you take that shortcut, you're gonna see that okay, that didn't help because I was supposed to do everything, not half of it. At the end of the day, you need to you're gonna need to make that up, basically. So there are no shortcuts at all, none.
Yep, and you know it's a really interesting point, based on the fact that every single person should be able to identify that process and know that, but somehow that process gets lost in translation. People quit because it's hard. People give up easily. People give in when they are not. People give in at the wrong time. You know, because I do believe that there's no work experience that is useless. It's not even possible.
Not at all.
Because the effort and the work that you put in right now in a particular situation or in a particular work environment, what you learn from there follows you into the next thing.
It does.
I am someone who I was a teacher right out of high school. I went to Carton to teach. From there, I was a court clerk at the Brikama Magistrates Court. From there, I went to the bank. I worked as a legal officer / recovery officer for 3 years. And then I came to the United States and I did a plethora of other things. But every single every single journey that I took to be where I am, to get to the bank, up till this day, some of those things that I learned, they are actually getting applied on a daily basis to my point. Even to this point, now I can sit down and have a conversation with somebody like you. I can sit down and talk about my experience because that journey had allowed me to have a story to tell. That journey has allowed me to relate to somebody else's story because I do understand your story. I do understand the language you're speaking. I do understand. You can put me in any professional setting and I will be fine there.
That's the best thing ever.
I will be fine there. You could put me in the dungeon and I will be fine there too, because I have dealt with people who who you might have to cost for them to really understand that this is how this is supposed to be done.
That's right.
So your journey is always going to be fulfilled. For you to get to, you have to go through certain things to prepare you for what's really ahead of you.
Yeah. So can you imagine? Let's say you, for example, when I came to the United States, I've never worked, and then I said, okay, I'm just gonna go through school. Let's say I get scholarship and I go right through school and I'm done, and then I go to work. First of all, there's a lot of things that I experienced when I came, because when I went to Cody College in Nevada, Missouri, I want to say the population of black people there is like next to nothing. So that exposure I would have missed, or I would have dealt with whatever was there. Then finally, culture-wise, then I come in and I start looking for a job. I feel like everything I dealt with, either racially, like culturally, because I'm from Africa, so there are times when I would speak and people don't not understand what I was saying. Same. Now, if I had jumped from there just straight to a job, I would feel so insulted. I feel like I would go through a lot more. It'd be discrimination. I would see the things that I would have, the way I deal with things now. Like if somebody can't understand me, I'm like, okay, well, this is what I said. I can actually repeat myself or try to break it down. Now, if I had just gone straight to work, I would have gotten mad because I'm like, why can't you understand me? Yeah. But I feel like that you can't skip all of that. I feel like every step of what you go through is preparing you for whatever you're gonna go
for your purpose.
Yeah, whatever you're gonna do in the future. And like I said, it's not easy. It's not. Right now I can just sit here and talk about it, but when I was going through it, I promise you it was tears It was, anger
Yes.
because I was like, why am I going through this? But now I can look at it and laugh about it. Oh wow, I went through that. Oh wow, So it's life, but it's life how you choose to live it.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. It's a really interesting, really interesting, interesting thing, and then it's so real. It is really real.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% factual. There's no ifs and buts and any other what ifs, anything of that nature. It's nothing in it. Yeah. It's a process you have to go through every single. If you cheat, at some point you will have to pay back.
Yeah, you pay for it.
You will have to pay back. So you have to trust the process. You have to be disciplined enough day in day out to take the punches and throw some punches when necessary, and just keep your head straight and keep pushing, because at the other side of the tunnel, there's always light. There's always light. There's going to be a period where you look back, you say, wow, I have covered this much mileage. I have covered this much, I've conquered this much challenges, and here I am with my scars and everything, and I'm still standing.
Yes.
Rugged.
And guess what? You're not done yet.
Yeah.
That's the saddest part. Well, I think at that point it's not the saddest part, because then it makes you feel good, because you're looking at the past and you're saying, man, I got all the way here. Man, I can do some more and even be better.
Yeah,
so,
and even at that stage, while you're doing some more, when you're faced with another challenge, you're ready to put on your mean face and look at the challenge and say, you know what? I know exactly what this is.
You handle it differently.
I know exactly what this is. I've been through this before. You know what? This too shall come to pass.
Yes.
And here you are, head down, shoulders tucked in, ready to tackle the same problem and move on.
Just in a different mindset, because now you know.
Yeah, now you know exactly what it is. You've recognized it, and you're ready to fight on.
I tell people it doesn't matter. Don't tell me, oh, I'm a woman, so I can't. Don't tell me that, because that's not a reason. That's an excuse. It's an excuse for saying that you don't want to be better, because I don't think it has anything to do with your gender. Oh, I come from. Doesn't matter where you come from. I'm somebody where I don't. There's a little bit, just a few excuses that I would tolerate, because I have been through a lot of things that I could have given excuses and just stopped exactly where I was. But because I came through it, and I'm not Superwoman, I cried. I worked crazy hours. I did whatever I had to do. I sacrificed myself. Basically, that's what that is. Just because I felt like I can do it. You can do it. But giving the excuses, I am happy that I didn't give any, that I didn't use any. I'm happy that I still pushed on, because I feel like there was a lot of things that could have helped me back. There was a lot. I
tell people that all the time. If you were going to count me out because of my trials, I don't think you know how to count, because it's no way I am giving up on anything. Look, when I started Waffle House, right, they said I was never going to last more than 6 months. It's 5 years, almost 5 years in.
Yeah.
And even till this day, I'm getting doubted, I'm getting questioned. But some of the questions, some of the reason why I'm getting questioned is because of my attitude towards certain things, because I still has to deal with myself. Sometimes I'm in the way of myself sometimes with the way my attitude towards certain things. My attitude towards the way somebody else gives me instructions. It all counts. However, it's for me to recognize that and know that, look, how this person feels about me and what this person is saying about me, it's none of my business, because it's no way possible. It's not even close that you know me more than I know myself.
It doesn't really matter.
How more than I know myself. You gotta be out of your mind to just sit there and count somebody out.
They assume that they know you.
They assume.
Yeah.
Your assumption of me is not my reality.
Nope, it's not.
But in the same vein, while they're counting you out, while people are boxing you in, people are telling you you can't do this. That should be the gas that fuel you to push on. And you gotta prove these motherfuckers wrong every single day. You have to prove people wrong, and not even proving people wrong. You have to also be in a position to make yourself, to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do it for self. Please self first. You gotta be able to please yourself, to look back at the journey and say, wow, I came this far. I did this. On to the next. You know?
No, it's true. Your life is what you choose to do with it. That's just, it's there. You get to make your decisions.
But that's the beautiful thing about it. It's your life, you know. It's your life. You have to take control of it. You have to push on. You have to be a dreamer. You don't have to be scared.
Nope, you don't.
Fear is going to take it all for you, you know. And you know, I just appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here and sitting down with your little brother and just.
Oh, that is so right.
And just having your little brother.
My little brother. Now he gave me you every time I tell you, Charles, wait, you're 32. I'm way older than you, Charles, and you're like whatever. But yeah, you are my little brother.
Nah, don't
like emphasis on the little.
don't even start before I revoke it. Don't even start before I revoke it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, cool. Because I can revoke it now and become your big brother in like 2 minutes.
Already been said.
Okay, cool.
Too late.
Too late. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here and sitting down with me and just, you know, just having a conversation from a place, a really honest place.
Yeah.
From a really pure place, and you know, you're always appreciated, and just thank you just for being you, and we'll meet at the top.
It's a pleasure.